Hey everybody, I'm down at the Lucas Apartments. I'm about to head up into my little girl cave and change clothes because it's Saturday and Monday is a really exciting day. The roofer is coming to do that little area over the alcove, but I've not painted that fascia board yet. And my daughter brought me down today. We always do the Galveston Historical Foundation home tour for my Mother's Day gift, which Mother's Day is next weekend, but it's actually the first 2 weekends in May. So we did it today. It's a gorgeous day. But of course, it's 85 degrees out. The sun is coming from the west right now. And I'm going to change clothes and harness up and get out there and paint that fascia. I should have done it a long time ago. I've been procrastinating, but it is exciting that the roof's going on. So I'm going to head up and change and head over there. So I look a little more natural to you guys now. I should have done this before I came down here, but I grabbed some exterior water-based primer. That's what it said to paint that polyethylene or whatever it is, bendable fascia board with. And I don't even know if this is good or not. We have so much opened paint in our garage. Oh, that actually looks pretty good. I did remember to bring a stir. I'll let it. That does look pretty good, so it's not too old. And that's more than enough to do the little part I have to do. But it does look like it's going to be pretty brutally hot out there. I forgot that tarp is brown, which means it's absorbed a lot of heat. And I'm going to have to lay on it to lean over and paint that fascia. So wish me luck. Oh, well, before I do that, this is not good. Let's remember to tie ourselves off before we climb out there. Nice. Okay, I'm secure. Not my primer. Here we go. It's two hands. Oops. All right. So let me start this way, see if I can reach. See how hot it is. That's actually not too terribly hot. So, and remember I told you this is going to be covered with a custom copper flashing. So hopefully it's not going to show, but I still want to paint it white just in case there's a little part that does show. Ow! Okay, that part's hot. There's probably a high likelihood I will fumble my paintbrush and have to go down and fetch it from the ground. It's a little warm on my bottom. Look out, incoming. All that crab walking in gym comes in handy. I think I'm going to have to unhook and hook over here, or I won't be able to reach. So I'm going to coin a new phrase. Not fun, but done. Sometimes you just have to do things you don't want to do because they're necessary. So hopefully the roofer will come on Monday and we'll get that thing dried in. But for now, I'm going to clean up my brush and go home. Monday morning, right on time, the roofer showed up. Pedro was here before when he came to remove the old roof the first time. That's when he found all the rot on the decking and the fascia, and he also found that there wasn't the proper blocking up next to the house to put the roof on correctly. Hopefully you saw the earlier video where Ricardo and I made all the necessary repairs and installed the new fascia to get this area prepped for the new roof. Pedro's first step was to remove all the tarps we put down to keep this area dry, and he's going to check out our work and see if everything's okay to proceed. If it is, he's going to put on a roofing membrane called TPO. TPO is a relatively newer form of roofing made from resin blends of polypropylene and uncross-linked EPDM rubber and polyethylene. That's a mouthful. TPO is characterized by high impact resistance, low density, and good chemical resistance. It's also white. That just means it's strong, durable, lightweight, and it reflects the sun's rays to keep the house cooler. Since the early 1990s when it came on the market, it's grown in popularity and now accounts for over 40% of commercial roofing on flat-roofed buildings. Previously, this roof had something on it called modified bitumen, which is very much like the normal composition asphalt shingles that go on the regular pitched roofs. It just comes in a wide roll. Modified bitumen is normally put on a roof with a molten tar and a blowtorch. It can be very stinky and hazardous to work with. I worked with a gentleman whose house caught on fire and burned to the ground while it was being roofed because the blowtorch ignited the tar. Modified bitumen is also only maybe lasting for 20 years if you're lucky in this climate. This TPO roof can last as long as 30 to 35 years. It's a little more expensive up front, but it's much cheaper in the long run because it's more durable. It's also heat welded with a hot air gun, so the installation is much cleaner, easier, and safer. I could have done that. Pedro started out by rolling the roof material out and securing it along that outer edge. He then cut it to shape along that edge. This first strip was the easiest because it could just be rolled out flat. As he moved up closer to the house, it got a little more difficult because there are angles to cut around where this small bay window sticks out. The tools used are very simple. It's just a small hooked blade like an old linoleum knife. If you notice, that first layer he's putting down is combined with the backing so that it can be done all at once. You don't have to roll down a separate piece of felt and then the TPO layer on top. It just saves a step. Another difference with TPO from the modified bitumen is that it's not stuck down with tar. It's fastened mechanically with nails and screws into the wood below. You can see that row of fasteners here along the edge. Here's a shot where the TPO had to be cut to fit the shape against the house. The TPO is easy to work with. It cuts, like I said, with a simple blade or even with a pair of just regular scissors. With that area cut to fit, Pedro started looking at this old flashing that was on the house from the previous roof. It was in bad shape. He didn't want to take it out for fear of damaging the mortar or the plaster anymore, but he needs it to lay down really smooth and not have any sharp edges that might poke through the new TPOs. He's very precise and methodical, so he spent quite a bit of time checking this area and making sure everything was okay before he moved on to the next step. Joe and I were giving a tour this morning, so I'd been running up and downstairs to check out the roof progress periodically, but our tour ended and I needed to go tackle a project of my own. Okay, I'm about to head inside and do another horrible project, and before I do that, I have to suit up. It is humid, crazy hair day for one, and it's really hot, and I made the mistake of wearing jean capris, so I'm dying of heat. So I'm going to get my hair up, but I also need it up for another reason. What I'm about to do is go into the basement and treat for fleas. We were giving a tour the other day and just felt something on our legs and looked down, and we were covered, Joe and I, with hundreds of fleas. And we've had that happen before down there. You saw a long time ago when we found the possum family living in there. Once we removed them and the fleas didn't have a host to hop on, they infested. When the eggs hatched, there were just thousands and thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions of fleas in there. So we treated it then. They've been gone. It's been, I don't know, 18 months ago, but they're back, and there's been evidence of some animal getting in there and pooping. So something's going on down there, but the fleas are so bad you can hardly even walk down there. And of course, the electrician is starting tomorrow night at 6, and he needs to be in the basement. So I've been to the store and got some Bug Be Gone. I've got 3 ounces of it in my 2-gallon sprayer that I need to fill up with water now. But I'm going to suit up and head in. But I'm a little worried about fleas, and I don't like them in my hair, on my head. So I'm doing this. I'm sure that's a very attractive look, and I don't want them on my legs. So I am replacing my little socks with some goobery boot liners for skiing that I have. And if they do jump on me, I'll be able to see them. Oh, you know what? These are not my boot liners. These are compression hose. Okay, this may be hard to get on. Oh, great. They're hard enough to get on normally, but when you're sweaty, this could be a problem. Okay. I had an unfortunate medical incident with pulmonary embolism, so I wear these guys when I travel or sit for a long period of time. Oh, that's going to be lovely. But I did get it on. Let me see if I can get the other one on. So anyway, I think down there it's too big to treat it as like a house and put foggers down there. It's not that closed in. Space is too big. Oh my gosh. These are tight. So I think treating it like a yard, because remember, most of it is bare dirt. Okay, I'm gonna put on my gross shoes. Because the other thing I found is when they jump on your feet, your tennis shoes have all these little nooks and crannies, and they get in there and they carry around with you during the day. So these are some old shoes that are coming apart. So when I get out of there, I can just take them off. and hose them down. So restoration is so glamorous. And like I've said before, I'm the boss, so I get to do all the fun jobs. So here we go. I'm suited up. I have my bug juice in the sprayer. Let me go fill the sprayer up with water. I'm already tired. It's been a long day already. The roofer's up. Roofing, I've been running up and down all those steps to check on him because Joe and I were giving the tour. We had a gentleman come in from out of town for the home tour. All right. Here we go. I don't know how far this will go. I'll probably have to do this 2 or 3 times to cover all the floor down there. All right. All right, and I'll save you the discussion of why that works, why air compresses and liquids do not, and how the sprayer works for another day. But there we go. I'm going in. Joe can't follow me in to film because the fleas are too bad. But
going in. I'll be right here.
Okay, actually I'm going to spray in here because he's going to work possibly at doing conduit. Okay. Oh, they're going up. They're going for the skin. They're going up. See, they're smelling me.
See, they're going towards us. They're on the back of the leg.
Get them. Well, that's better than 100 of them.
What was it?
This is for Abby.
Wait, let me back up. Okay.
I'm a little lad who likes berries and cream. I'm a little lad who likes berries and cream. My daughter will know what that is. All right, hopefully another not fun and done project, but I forgot to tell you why I went to the great lengths to protect myself from the fleas, because I'm not really afraid of fleas, or I wasn't until last week. I met a woman who's volunteering to help us with our first fundraising event, our fashion show that we're having in July. And she was telling me about her husband. He spent 6 weeks in the hospital, several weeks, I think 2 weeks on a ventilator because he got typhus from a flea bite down here. And typhus is one of those old diseases you never hear about anymore, but it does still exist. 60% of the people who get it, if they're not treated with the proper antibiotic, die from it. And it's even higher if you're 65 and older. And I am the person who gets all kinds of weird diseases. So I did not want any more flea bites from going down there. So that's why I suited up. I don't want to get a weird ancient disease. Look, we've got copper nails. Ring shank. That looks like kind of a screw, but there's no screw head. I wonder if he has a special tool. Oh, got a blowtorch. With my project complete, it was time to run up those stairs one more time and see what Pedro was up to. He had worked his way around to the other side of the bay window and was finishing up putting the fasteners in along the wall. That big second sheet of TPO that he laid down had to be done in 2 sections to make it easier to get around this bay window, but it left this big seam where the 2 pieces butted up together. So it has 2 layers? So is that hot?
No.
That's not.
Oh yeah.
That's hot.
Oh,
He was using those same fasteners and what looks like washers to hold that seam down. But unlike a smooth washer, you can see the fastener actually has these jagged teeth punched into it that go down into the TPO and grip it as it's nailed in to keep that TPO from pulling out or sliding out, so it's really secure. Obviously, the nail and these teeth leave holes in the TPO that somehow have to be sealed, and obviously that seam will need something on it to seal it up. So I was curious to see what the next step in the process was. This was my first time watching a TPO roof go down. So there's that side's already done. I just assumed this would be metal flashing. I just assumed this would be a metal flashing, but it's not. So then I'll bring the siding back over, down over that. So I don't need any other flashing at all. Okay. And I don't need any other counter flashing over there. Oh, you will put counter flashing on that? Okay. But not here, just the wood siding, but then a counter flashing over there. Okay. Thank you. On my next trip upstairs, Pedro was already into the heat welding process. He had some additional TPO that did not have that felt backing on it. He cut that into strips and used it to cover all of the open seams and anywhere that he had those mechanical fasteners. He then used that hot air blowtorch that he had to heat the material and press it together just with a simple roller and not that much pressure. Because the piece that he cut was a few inches wide, he worked his way from one side to the other, and on the final pass he had a small pointed tool that he ran along the seam just to lift it and make sure that he did a final pass and had that lip perfectly secure. So that's what we're watching here. You can see him take that tool, run it along just to make sure that everything is secured behind that, and then finish that last little bit of heat welding to cover everything. So this is a little bit of a tedious process. Again, he's very methodical and very thorough, checking every seam to make sure that everything is tight and there's nowhere for water to get in. So permanent tight seal. Oh my gosh, okay, he's just scaring the heck out of me. I have a hard time watching roofers. I'd be tied down and sitting on my butt, and he's just backing up to the edge. I could never do that job. Okay, Joe and I are sitting down for lunch, and I turned my head to talk to her, say hi, and noticed that happened. So that's new. That's always worried me anyway. Oh, talk to the electrician tomorrow, see what can be done about that.
Call a very temporary box.
Well, that's Centerpoint's meter can. That's bad, because there's live wires you can reach in there. I'm gonna go check that thing.
No touching. No touching. No touching. No touching.
Okay, fine. I'm not touching. I'm just looking.
Look with your eyes, not your hands.
So apparently the old meter can was not screwed to the pole. It was only being held up by the conduit that comes down from the pole that has the live electrical wires in it. And that conduit connection rusted, and the box just spun around and fell over and pulled all the wires out with it. Fortunately, Mateo, our volunteer electrician, is supposed to come start work tomorrow, so he's got his first emergency project. Yeah, I'm getting a new videographer because I handed Joe the phone and said, hey, film this in case it explodes. And I walked over here and hit the can, and it exploded, and paint erupted all over me, and Joe came over and filmed it. But when she took the camera, she pushed the button and turned it off. So we didn't get it on film. So come show him the mess.
If it's any consolation, the table was in the way anyway. But yeah,
I did jump and scream.
So it was a spray can of paint
Stuck in the tree.
stuck in the tree. We're trying to get out, and
Like explosion, more of like a lava.
But now
eruption.
you have the prettiest pry bar on the island.
But it got me, and I like ruined my pants and my shoe, and it's still wet.
You say ruin, I say accessorize.
And my Fitbit is now hot pink, but I actually brought that paint down here to paint my tools so that nobody would accidentally walk off with them. Nobody would take them on purpose, but we have a lot of tools and things get carried around. So anyway, that happened. Y'all missed it. Thanks. we are two old ladies that can't do social media or can't work our phone. Anyway, there's that. He's here. He just went to park in the He's here. He just went to park in the shade, but I went to get something to clean my hands. But look what I found.
Oh, it's the lucky penny for the day.
Is it my lucky penny? Is it my lucky day or not? You decide. I don't want to put my harness on, so I've got one leg hanging on here. Well, that's stinky. You already done over there? Yeah. So it doesn't have metal flashing on the wall? That's the flashing, it just sticks. So is that like contact cement? It has to dry a little bit before you stick it on? Yeah. This stuff? So, okay, and so I see, so you've covered the seams. So this is the cover of the seam?
I'm in the cover.
Yeah, yeah, and then now you cover all that. Uh-huh. And then where does the copper flashing go? Around the outside? So it's getting there. And this will last 50 years?
50 years?
50 years?
Probably.
Maybe? Good. I won't have to worry about it. Somebody else can worry about it. So there's that side. It's already done. I just assumed this would be metal flashing. I just assumed this would be a metal flashing, but it's not. So then I'll bring the siding back over, down over that. So I don't need any other flashing at all. Okay. And I don't need any other counter flashing over there? Oh, you will put counter flashing on that? Okay. But not here, just the wood siding, but then a counter flashing over there. I was interrupted by a very exciting phone call. Okay, this is exciting. We look really
sure
good.
We want to do this?
Yeah,
okay.
but the TV show Yellowstone is coming to scout our property for a potential filming site. So yay!
Woo!
And we look so good.
We look Hollywood
we can't wait
right
to
now.
meet people. Okay, and that's interesting. That's not even that hot. Maybe it's in a cool down mode. It was almost 5 and it was time for Pedro to pack up and head home. He didn't quite get the roof finished. This is all the copper flashing that still has to go around the outside edge and the counter flashing that needs to go up against the house. He'll have to come back on another day, but right now heavy rains are predicted to come in for several days. So it's a good thing we got this roof done now. It'll be watertight. The flashing will help, but I don't think there'll be any problem waiting until it can get done. Joe and I hung around and met with the scout. It was not Yellowstone, it was actually the prequel, 1923, that they were scouting for. So they took some shots in the house, but then we also went down and they took some shots of the Lucas apartments. It's a little more Art Deco from the 1923 era. So I doubt we'll be chosen. I don't think we're suited for what they're looking for, but it was fun nevertheless to be able to show off the properties. So that's it for today. Next time we'll pick up with the roof work. So be sure and turn on your notifications and subscribe. Check us out on our Facebook page, our Instagram, and visit our website. We are working feverishly to get open for general admission tours this summer if we can. So that's where you will find updates. Until next time, we hope to see you back here at the League-Kempner House in Galveston, Texas.